Hey, it's Clayton Olson, and in this video, I'm going to give you 3 tools that I use with the clients that I work with that will help you step into new realities that you're wanting to create. Whether that's in the realm of creating the relationship you want, whether that's creating the new position within the company that you're aiming for, or whether you're an entrepreneur and a leader and wanting to step into a new level of responsibility and vision for whatever it is that you're bringing to life in your world. These 3 tools can apply to all these different categories. We can use them the same way and they will have a particular result moving you in the direction of what you want. The first thing that I notice when I'm talking with people, with clients, is when they come to me, there can be this overfixation with the problem state that they're experiencing. And how that might manifest is they've almost developed a habit of talking about what's wrong and finding all the different language for explaining why things are wrong, why they're stuck, why something is the way that it is, where they believe that they're describing the problem. When in actuality, what ends up happening is when we really use a lot of verbose language to describe and entrench ourselves in the problem state, we often calcify a way of being in that, find all these logical justifications for being where we're at. And so the first thing to notice in this is to realize that language is an act of creation versus description. Now, I'm all for processing pain, processing and talking about the logistics and getting a clear read on what's going on currently in one's life so that we have a starting point of where we're going to start from and where we're going to move to. However, when it becomes habitual, when we have come up and we start to find ourselves in the realm of complaining or in the realm of justifying why we are where we're at, we start to build in this almost like learned helplessness, and we lose even access to what it is that we want because we're so focused on what we don't want. So the first shift in this is to notice, how much are you speaking about the problem state currently in your life? How much are you ruminating on what's wrong and what's not working and why it's not working and what you could have done differently and what you should do differently in the future to avoid this thing, versus actually slowing down and really beginning to use the vast majority of your brain power to start to orient yourself towards what it is that you would love to create. Language is often used to describe something. We believe we're describing something when we open our mouths. But when it comes to the story that we're living into, when it comes to our interpretation of what's happening, which then indirectly and actually directly creates a way of being in that circumstance, we're creating problems when we speak about them. So the invitation here is to become very responsible, very keen on the language we're using to talk about whatever it is that's keeping us stuck, and to start to use that language almost magically to create the outcomes that we want, to begin to create and craft the stories that we want to live into, the beliefs, the narrative that is ultimately going to compel and magnetize us to move in the direction that we want. The second step, which dovetails off of this first, is to begin to get your nervous system acclimated to the new reality that you're wanting to create in your life. When we start to get a read on what it is that we want, it may not just be enough to talk about it, to say, hey, I want a healthy relationship. And then just to leave it there, hang our hat in it and say, okay, I'm looking for a healthy relationship, or I'm looking to start this company, or I'm looking to step into this new role. Let's actually use our nervous system and begin to experience what it would be like to already have that thing. Now, some of this may feel like law of attraction or pulled from different pages around manifesting, but there's a real scientific basis to this. See, our nervous systems, our autonomic nervous system, the aspect of ourselves that is in control of generating emotions, that's in charge of our heart rate, our digestion, our breath, wants us to survive. And it knows that we can survive our current predicament because we've been doing so already. And so there's something that is comfortable and that is safe about the familiar. What it doesn't know that it can survive is this new reality that you're wanting to create, the new healthy relationship that you're wanting, the new position that you're wanting, the new direction that you're trying to pull into and create in your life. And so our conscious mind logically knows that we'll be able to survive that, But the system, the unconscious processes, the unconscious iceberg of who we are needs to have some experience and some familiarization with this new reality. So oftentimes what I have clients do is we create this reality in three-dimensional, brilliant detail and color, looking at it from a 360-degree perspective, unearthing different questions about what you're going to feel like in that, what you're going to look like, how are you going to move, what are some of the thoughts and commentary moving around and floating in your head, and then to actually step into that three-dimensional model that you're using your imagination to create, to breathe through it, and to allow your system to become familiar with this new reality. Now what that does is it will actually neutralize the unconscious resistance that your body will start to generate as you move in the direction of what you want. Oftentimes this occurs as self-sabotage because our nervous system isn't familiar with this new reality. It doesn't feel safe. And so what we end up doing is kind of snapping back to what's familiar, even if our conscious mind experiences it as suffering or unwanted. So that's the second step, is to begin to visualize the future that you're wanting to create in excruciating, intricate detail, and give yourself a chance to actually step in, associate it, and really feel what that's like. This is something that I do with my clients on a pretty regular basis when we're talking about moving out of the problem state and into the desired state. And the third thing to pay attention to is we're always going to be checking for ecology. Now, ecology is something that I learned from NLP Marin, which is an incredible school for teaching coaches the just intricacies of what it is to be a human being and how to work with someone around change. And it's one of the only schools that I really have found that has taken a real focus on ecology. And what ecology is understanding that whatever it is that we're wanting to create is going to come with a set of problems that we may not be anticipating. So for instance, if you're wanting a relationship with the healthy, devoted, committed partner, it's important to slow down and think, what kind of problems may I experience in that might seem more dangerous to me than the problems I'm currently experiencing being single or even being with somebody that's toxic? Now that might sound illogical. Well, how could being with somebody that's toxic be maybe less dangerous than being with someone that's healthy? Now, this is not a logical question. This is more of an emotional one. If we've grown up and we've been in toxic relationships, maybe we had a toxic childhood, or we've had people in our lives that have not treated us well, again, our system understands that we can survive that because we've been doing it our entire life. But as we look into the future and we say, hey, I want to break this pattern, I want to move into a relationship that is healthy, that is devoted, that is committed, there's going to be certain things that are going to be expected of us. There's going to be certain things that our partner is going to invite us to step into that might feel really unsafe, like being seen, being vulnerable, letting go of control, being fully loved to some of our deepest levels, and having some of our maybe wounding exposed in a way to be healed and loved. That's what comes with a really healthy relationship, is that we end up having to step into unfamiliar realms, letting go of control, and really risking feeling rejected on a deep level because we're playing a bigger game, we're playing all out. And so if we're not anticipating that and saying yes to those types of issues that we will inevitably face as we move in that direction, we are going to run into, again, some unconscious obstacles, but that might appear as self-sabotage, ways in which we find problems with that person that might be great for us, find reasons to just deflect or avoid the intimacy. So the more consciousness we can bring to it, the more awareness and intentionality we can take as we step in this direction. This can also happen in the realm of leadership too. If you're looking to step into a higher level role with more visibility, with more responsibility, with more things that you are in charge of and control of, get ready to possibly feel like an imposter for a season. Get ready to possibly feel like you're experiencing burnout, or to maybe have to crash into and heal the part of you that doesn't feel worthy or that feels inadequate for the task at hand. And if we're not anticipating this, there's ways in which we might just unconsciously reject that path because our system doesn't feel ready to actually step in and experience that problem. So as we look at the different issues that we are saying yes to by getting the thing that we want, we can then consciously begin to move more deliberately in the direction of creating the world, the relationship, the love, the type of leadership that we want in our life. So those are the 3 tools and tips. The first one is to be less verbose about the problem and begin to use the power of your language to create the realities that you want. The second is to look into the future and really get a felt sense of what it's like to already accomplish the thing that you want. And the third one is to pay attention to the problems that will inevitably come as a result of getting what you want, right? The grass might be greener than where you're at right now, but it's still going to require some de-weeding and tending to. So what are some of those weeds that are going to grow inside that healthy relationship, inside that new level of responsibility? Say yes to those now so that you're clearing the path for you to move more effortlessly and with ease in that direction. My name's Clayton Olson, and if you are looking for some one-on-one support and want me in your corner to help you craft a life that is worth living, whether it's in business or whether it's in relationship, I work with people one-on-one. I've been doing this for over a decade. I'd love to have a conversation with you and talk about what we can create together. Thanks.